What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Baton's Orthopedic Clinic, and of course, Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. Hope you all had a great night. Have a great weekend so far. Tigers dropped a tough one on game one at Tennessee. K. Doty with the early blast. Tigers would push another across on a pass ball. Led 2-1, and it fell apart a little bit for the Tigers there in the sixth as Javen Coleman entered, gave up a three spot. The Tigers would put two on in the top of the ninth, but couldn't push them across. So a little bit of a bummer there, man. Tigers had a chance to steal game one. One of the really good things about super regional play is, you got at least two games. So realistically, let's start here. Realistically, I'll go big picture. We talk about the game. So if you have questions, fire away. We'll say some good mornings. So realistically, you had Hilliard going against their ace. Chad Dallas is their number one. And as perplexing as it is, because the guy's got an ERA north of 4, and he doesn't have anything dominant, like that's not going to be a big league pitcher. He's now 11-1 in the season and has handcuffed LSU twice. He has set his career high in strikeouts, both of his games against LSU this year. 11 against LSU back in March, and then last night he had 12. That guy's got your number. In the same way that Marshawn Lattimore just absolutely owns Mike Evans, Chad Dallas owns LSU. That's what it is. That guy's got your number. So you were this close to stealing a game with your number 2 going against their number 1. Today, the roles reverse. Today, you've got Landon Marceau going on 5 days rest against Will Heflin. And Heflin has, he's the guy on the on their staff that is probably the weakest of the three. On the season in conference play, Tennessee was just 6-4 in game 2s. LSU chased Heflin after 3 1/3 when they played earlier this year. So, today, the advantage shifts very much in your favor with Landon Marceau going. So, you got to win this game. This was kind of your hope, right? This was your hopium. Was win your game with Marceau, force a game 3, and then find a way to win that winner-take-all game on Monday. And they got a chance to do this today. But man, it's tantalizing because they were so close to stealing one yesterday. So, all right, if you're jumping on here on Facebook, please like the page and share the post. If you've not liked the Matt Moscona page yet, please like the page and hit the share button on this post. It's very much appreciated. YouTube, if you would, please hit that like button. We would appreciate it. That's the little thumbs up. If you don't see it, X out of the live chat, and then you hit the thumbs up, and then you'll see the little live chat tab right there again. Hey, Megan Hurst, good morning. Pat Houston, Truax, what's up, man? Justin Reyes, can you refer the Tennessee pitcher to Dr. Blake Williamson, please? So they don't have to wear those goggles. Look like an idiot. The only thing worse than getting beaten by a junk baller is getting beat by a junk baller who looks like an idiot. Irfan Sayad, good morning. Brian Arsenault, do you know the correct time, 11 or 2? They're playing at 2 o'clock today. The network's opted for the late game, so it's LSU-Tennessee, 2 p.m. Central Time today. 2 p.m. Central Time today. And it'll be on ESPN 2. 2 p.m. Central on ESPN 2. Hey, Dad, good morning. Justin Sizemore, Tim Edwards, woulda, coulda, shoulda against Tennessee again. It's true. You played them 4 times. You're 0-4 against them, and all 4 games could have gone either way. We were doing the companion show, and a lot of people were obviously talking about the decision to pull Hilliard, which I want to talk about because I think it was the right decision. But I'll get there in a second. Lance Richard, Vino Frazier. What's up, Vino? More than Matt, to be honest. I didn't know anything about baseball until listening to AFR. Hell, I hated it. Well, I'm glad you listened, man. And thanks for watching. Yesterday was tough, man, but that's baseball. But the great thing about baseball is every day is a new day, right? It's the old cliche in baseball, but it's true. Like, it doesn't matter what happened the day before. Look at Did y'all see Arkansas? So Arkansas beats NC State 21-2 in game 1 and lost game 2 6-5. I mean, it's baseball. It's maddeningly beautiful. That's why I love it. Let's see. Hey, Jerry, good morning. Andrew Bayer. On that tough loss, too many missed opportunities with runners in scoring position. Look, man, LSU didn't have many runners in scoring position. They didn't have many runners on base last night against Chad Dallas. But when you had them, you had to get them in, and they did. And LSU only had 6 left on base. Tennessee had 6 left on base. Like, the line scores were incredibly similar. LSU 2 runs on 8 hits. Tennessee 4 runs on 6 hits. I mean, Javen Coleman was really good, y'all. McHale was awesome, and Javen Coleman was really good too. I mean, we'll talk about the 6th inning. Maybe we'll jump into that here in a second. Michael Blanco pulled Hilliard too early. Skip, what's up, man? When Cruz, Morgan, and Doty have their offensive performance, you won't win. I mean, he's right. I mean, like, you don't want to blame those guys, but like, so Dylan Cruz was 1 for 4, and the single he got thrown out at second because field turf is stupid. I mean, he was safe and slid past the bag. That sucks. That's just bad luck. I mean, you're about to have a runner, your leadoff runner on second base with nobody out, and your best player slides past the bag because it's turf. It's wet turf. I mean, what do? That sucks. Arnold went 1 for 4. Dude, Trey Morgan was 0 for 4 strikeouts in the 3-hole. I mean, it killed you last night. And then Dugas, batting cleanup, was 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. I mean, your 3 and 4 hole hitter struck out 7 times. I mean, Skip's right. I mean, we talk all we want about the decision to pull who were like, bruh. And then Jordan Thompson was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. I mean, guys you count on were just not good at the plate last night. All right, let me say some hellos. Oh gosh, my bad. I never shared the YouTube link yet. My bad. Where is it? Wait, that ain't what I want. There it is. Hang on. And let me share this out real quick, then we'll say some good mornings to the YouTube peeps. And I do want to talk about the decision to pull Hilliard. If you were watching the companion show, we talked about it last night ad nauseum during the game. Excuse me. All right, let's say some good mornings to these YouTube peeps as well. Hey, Trivia, what's up, man? Juan, Joey, Vincent, Carl the Cat, Thomas Willie, good morning. Matthew Pittman, feel like that's about how we could have hoped it would go. Take better advantage of a couple chances we win. Yeah, look, I mean, really, there were 2 plays at third base that were just devastating. I mean, the first one on the grounder to third, and the runner broke from second to third. Doty should have tagged him. I mean, instead he went to first, allowed the runner to get to third, and that run would score. And then in the 6th, there was the grounder to third, and Doty kind of slow played the hop. And he had 3 choices. You can go home, you can tag the runner at third, or you can go to first. And he did none of them. And that's really why the inning against Coleman went the way it did. Coleman started the inning with a strikeout. And then he had 2 strikes. He was up 0-2 on their 2-hole. I mean, he struck out Spence. And then Ferguson, who's their leadoff. And then Ferguson comes up and he's got him in an 0-2 hole. And then Ferguson's a really good hitter. Came back and worked a walk. And then, he gave up the double to Rucker. And then that weird play with Gilbert was just, anyway. Let's see. Stacy Schilling, Barry McCockner, good morning. Has there been a time set on today's game? Oh, I got it, Barry. That's cute. Yes, 2 o'clock. Trey Hyde, Tennessee runner looked out of the base path. I don't think so. That's Hobby's fault. Cruz swinging at pitches, way out the zone. Morgan staring at strikes. The thing about Chad Dallas is his fastball did have some run to the left side. I mean, and you could see they showed a home plate view. Maybe it was like an umpire camera or something like that of one of the strikeouts. I think it was Dylan Cruz. No, because it was a right-handed hitter. And the ball was tailing away from the righty, and it was like, well, that moved a bunch. That moved like 6 inches. Cortland Jacob, good morning. Juan, Matt, what are your thoughts on the new batting order? Well, Juan, people loved it in Eugene and when it was working. I don't like Dylan Cruz batting leadoff. Trey Morgan has hit damn near 400 in the leadoff spot this year. I would lead off Trey Morgan. And plus, I want Dylan Cruz up with men on base. I don't want Dylan Cruz batting to lead off innings or to lead off the game. I want Dylan Cruz up with people on base, especially when Milazzo is the 9 hole. So when you turn the order over, you're almost guaranteed to have nobody on base. So I don't like Dylan Cruz in the leadoff spot. I've said that all year. I don't like that. But Paul Maneri doesn't call me before he sets the lineup. So it's probably how it's going to stay. Cortland. This is 2 straight games for Cruz and Morgan. Yeah, but Cortland, bro, this is baseball. Like, 2 games is a miniature sample size. It sucks that it happened that way, but that's 2 games. Like, 2 games out of 60 now. Like, you play guys based on the metrics and the larger sample size and probabilities. I mean, that's what baseball is. It's based on. And that's why Paul went and pulled McHale when he did, which was the right call. So I'll talk about that now. If you actually go back and watch the start of the companion show, when Musso and I were talking about it, we were like, man, dream scenario. Like, if you could get through, like we talked about, like if McHale could give you 3, and then you could, because you had Coleman waiting. Because a lot of people wanted Coleman to start the game. Oh, the point was, man, McHale says he feels more comfortable as a starter, so start him. And Coleman has only been a starter twice in 14 outings this year. And they were like midweek, 1 inning, pass the ball off deals. So start the guy who is more comfortable starting and then get Coleman whenever you need him. So, now, Cortland, that's stupid. I understand it's baseball, but that's also a game of streaks. Cortland, that's stupid. That's how that, like, that's like if you start trying to guess the stock market. Like, that's a losing strategy. You don't guess who's going to be hot at a certain time. You don't pull Trey Morgan today because he's had 2 bad games. That's stupid. Like, you play your best players because over the long haul, they're going to produce. Come on, man. Anyway, so back to Hilliard. We'd actually even talked, like, if Hilliard could get you to 5 with a lead to give the ball to Coleman, that'd be a dream scenario. And they did, because you'd have Coleman and Fontenot waiting to try to steal game 1. And they damn near did. Tennessee was about to turn the lineup over in the 6th, so they had the top of their order coming up in the 6th inning. They had already seen Hilliard twice, and we know that's sort of the MO with Hilliard. Once guys have seen him a couple of times through the order, he's not as effective because they've seen that breaking ball. And Coleman had been outstanding. Like, I totally understand why. The only reason that fans today are bitching and saying you pulled McHale too early is because it didn't work. Like, yes, like we talk about this all the time. Baseball is a game of failure. The old adage, you fail 70% of the time, you get in the Hall of Fame. You make decisions strategically based on the information you have And if strategically your decision makes sense, if the reasoning behind it makes sense, then I can live with the result. Like, I can live with that result last night. Because what if they had run McHale out there for the 6th inning and he gets shelled? You know what people are going to say? Well, you got greedy. McHale was out there, gave you 5 innings, you should have pulled it. Like, that's what people are, that would be the reaction. It's the same thing whenever Coleman pitched that awesome performance against Ole Miss when LSU lost 8-1. Coleman was so dominant, and then, well, they left him out there too early, or they left him out there too late. Well, it's just, I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't if you lose the game. So I had no problem pulling McHale when they did. I thought it was a good call. I totally understand the reasoning behind it, and Coleman had been awesome. And you get the strikeout, and then we mentioned Ferguson drew the walk, but you had Ferguson 0-2. You get strikeout, then you strike out Spence, their leadoff. You get Ferguson 0-2, and then he battles back and draws a walk. Good on him, good on him. And then Rucker doubles, so now you've got second and third with 1 out, and then there was the grounder that Gilbert hit to third base, and K. Doty didn't charge it. Had he charged it, he could have made a play at home. He didn't. He was a little indecisive, and I think because he didn't make the tag at third earlier in the game, he thought, let me go make this tag. And Ferguson was, no, it would have been Rucker. It was a little far away. Maybe kind of dance out of the line, whatever you want to say, but you couldn't make that play, and then it was too late making the play first. So now everybody's safe. The run scores, now you get first and third with 1 out. And then because everybody was safe, you didn't record an out, they scored the next run on the fielder's choice to second, which would have ended the inning. So it's like, man, if Doty gets any out in that situation, comes home and gets the runner, tags the guy at third, or goes to first, you're out of the inning at worst tied. Well, I mean, shoot, if he goes home and gets the runner, you still have the lead. You're out of the inning, you still have the lead. But it didn't work out that way, man. That's a bummer. So go get the game today, man. As always, I'll shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area, of course, but the after-hours clinic open today, and their main location there on Bluebonnet inside of the Surgical Specialty Center. So if you're celebrating a Tiger win, you jump up and you sprain your ankle and you need to go see a doctor, Brock After-Hours Clinic. And, of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. We work weekends, too, y'all. Holler at us over at Hudco. All right, let's see. Danny Mumfrey, I was getting tired of seeing the Tennessee pitcher walking around the mound after every strikeout. Yeah, he was. They take all the personality of their coach, and that's not very impressive. It was interesting. So during the companion show, Ray Wright was on the companion show. You remember Ray, of course, who made the catch over the wall against Stanford in the 2000 championship game. And Ray lives in North Carolina, and he and his son drove over to Knoxville for the Super Regional. And so he jumped on the companion show from the stands a couple times. And Ray was like, man, this guy Vitello, like, what a clown. And I guess he's just, by his comparison is Skip. He's like, man, look, the national championship game against Stanford, and we were down 5-3, 5-2. It's like, you wouldn't have known looking at Skip anything at all. It's like, let the players be emotional. The manager needs to be, or the coach needs to be steady. And Vitello is anything but that. That's true. Let's see. Krista Ducote, good morning. Shelby Kelly, good morning. Earl Lytle, good morning. Ryan Dixon, if Pulmonary wants to tinker, take Cruz out of the leadoff spot, move him to the middle, put Morgan at leadoff. I mean, Ryan, that's like, I mean, I don't think he's going to do that. If anything, I don't even think he has an option today. Because if Gio were available, you'd play Gio in center, you'd play Bianco at second, and you would DH Arnold. But with Gio out, Bianco goes to center, Arnold goes to second, which means your DH options are Beloso, who's a lefty, Drost, who's a lefty, or Collier Cranford, who's a righty, and you're not going to hit Cranford. And Tennessee is throwing their lefty today. So you really don't have an extra right-handed bat on the bench that you can go throw in there to change things up. So I don't think the only thing he may do is let Drost hit instead of Beloso. He may DH Drost instead of Beloso, but I wouldn't do that. I'd stick with Cade. I mean, Drost has been a strikeout threat. I know Cade struck out twice last night, but he also got on base. He got hit by a pitch. That's what I've told you all season. Like, inexplicably, despite the fact that he's hitting 230 or whatever it is, guy still manages to get on base, and he did last night. He got hit by a pitch. So, Chad, Wilk, and Heflin struck out 6 and 3 innings last time out. We have to put the ball in play. So, Will Heflin threw 3 1/3 last time against LSU, and I have no idea why Vitello pulled him. I don't remember why, but he's also got an ERA north of 4. You gotta go get this one. You got Marshall on the mound. Jesse McGraw, Matt, we need to go a different direction with the DH. Well, I just spelled that out, Jesse. Like, you don't have option. Like, that's the problem. You don't have an option. Your options are Beloso, Drost, or Cranford. It's not going to be Cranford. If it's Beloso or Drost, it can be Beloso. Justin Ray is good morning. How do you feel about putting someone behind besides Milazzo before Cruz? That's 100. Justin, I mean, I would 100% put someone else in the 9-hole. Like, I would probably put Jordan Thompson in the 9-hole. And move Milazzo to the 8-hole. Because having Milazzo before Cruz as the lineup flips, it's, when you're talking about an automatic out, like, Cruz is going to be up and nobody on base. I mean, I've been shouting that for weeks. Like, yes, that doesn't make any sense to me to have an out in your 9-hole. I loved when Maneri did that in 17, where you had Kramer leading off and you had Cole Freeman as the 9-hole. You basically had back-to-back leadoff hitters. Shelby, this is the worst defensive team I've seen in a long time. Mental awareness mishaps, kicking the ball around, pitiful. You know, Shelby, the other part of it too is I don't disagree with you on that. But look at the domino effect, right? Gio should be your starting center fielder. I think Bianco has turned out to be a really good defensive second baseman. I think Thompson has more than held his own as a freshman at shortstop. And for the most part, Doty's been good at third. And we know Trey Morgan at first has been pretty stellar, as has Milazzo behind the plate. So I think it's more just some of that situational awareness stuff. Same thing happens on the base paths. You know. Bennett Sy, what's up, Bennett? Can our 8 and 9 batters just go up without a bat and hope for a walk? Or hit by pitch? Dale Crochet, what's up? Andrew Bayer, Bianco got lucky with the foot grab, sliding into second. Dude was on a slip and slide, and that was field turf. Yep. Randy O'Neill, what's up? Sean Gasser, Leandra Lewis, Mark Bork, Derek Adams. Why can't we DH Doty? He sucks at third. Well, he doesn't suck at third, Derek. They call it the hot quarter for a reason. When you're taking, 110-mile-an-hour balls on a short hop at third, it's not always easy to play. I don't know that. I mean, just to entertain your question, I don't know what other option you have. Will Safford was supposed to be the third baseman to start the season, and he obviously lost that job. Earlier this year, they did have Jordan Thompson at third and Zach Arnold at short, if you remember that. But I don't think that at this point in the season, Palmineri is going to make that change. So a lot of people asking about DH and someone else. So I've answered that a couple times. I know people are maybe just jumping on, but I really don't think you have another option. Let's see, Matt Godwin. What's up, Matt Godwin? Good morning. Bruce Parker getting zero production from the bottom third of your order. Going to eventually catch up to you. But they were great in Eugene, you know. It's got to get those guys coming. I mean, and again, I'll point out to you that you could talk all you want about the bottom of your order, but the guys LSU counts on, Trey Morgan was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, and Gavin Dugas was 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So your 3-4 hole hitters were 1 for 8 with 7 strikeouts. So that's not super good. Rap in batches. What's up, Merrick Bethune? Can Bianco come back next year? Yes. Are you in the picture of the Ray Wright catch? I'm not, Joey. Honest to goodness, true story. When Edmund Muth hit that ball, so if you're looking at Ray, I would be to the right. Like if you're looking at the picture, right, from the field, and you're looking at Ray go over the wall, I'm to the right. As soon as Edmund Muth hit the ball, I sat down and did this. Like we were literally in the first row of right field for the entire College World Series. Hang on. I think I've done this before, but I'll do it again. Show you if I can find it. Actually, that's like framed up here. Anyway. How about this one? The 1999 LSU Alabama Super Regional at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Look at your boy with the Hawaiian shirt on. Can't believe they ever let me out the house dressed like that. But they did. Gosh dog it. Man, I was really love to find one of those pictures somewhere in here. We won't though. We go in a haystack. Well. I'm trying to find a picture. I got this big giant stack of pictures. Like old pictures that I have from different stuff. How about this one? I was working the confetti cannons and stuff at the Saints game. It was Ricky Williams doing a post-game interview on the field. Oh well. I was gonna try to find one, y'all, from that College World Series where we were in right field. Just trust me, I was in the first row of right field. Anyway. Crap. Oh well. Another day. The only funny to sit there and stare at the top of my head while I look through gobs of pictures. Anyway, yes, it was in the first row of right field. Edmund Muth hit the ball. I sat down, put my hands on my head like that, so I'm not in the picture. But we did kind of like, because we went to every game of that World Series and we sat in the front row, we would go to like, they had a Kmart nearby. We'd go to Kmart and buy poster board and like markers, and we would make signs that were contextually relevant to whatever game was being played, which was a lot of fun. Let's see. Young of the Mill, who's in the lead for the next head coach? Probably Mike Bianco at this point, unless Scott Woodward has some up his sleeves. Chance Doyle, Dallas kid better enjoy his last few games. He'll never play beyond Tennessee. Someone will draft him, and he'll get a chance to play somewhere in professional ball. But he's not. I mean, he's not going to be. He won't pitch in the majors, but. Look, I would compare him to someone like Jared Poche, man. Didn't have overpowering stuff, just knew how to pitch and knew how to get hitters out, man. And it had to be really frustrating for opposing teams and opposing hitters to watch a guy like that, just go up there and pitch his face off and get dudes out. Last name is pronounced Haydad. Got it. Trey Haydad. Got it. I work with Brick and LaRussa. Bick and LaRussa. Oh, Bick. Oh, like Doug Bick and LaRussa Universe. There you go, Trey. Appreciate that, man. Good deal. Stephen Cooper. The same people who wanted Hilliard pulled are the same people who always say Paul leaves people in too long. Lose it. Who wanted Hilliard to stay in is what you mean. I know what you mean. So, oh gosh. Trivia said, looking at the Ray Wright catch, who was the clown about to interfere with the catch? So, I know I've told this story before, but I don't know that any of you actually care about it today. But I'll tell it again if you want me to. Now I have to find this. Okay, I'll look for the picture while I tell you the story. So if you watch the Ray Wright catch, there is a guy who is in like full body paint, reaching his hat like this, about like trying to get the ball. And I mean, it's close, especially with the angle of the picture that everyone sees all the time. It's really close to that guy interfering and Ray Wright never making that catch. So that guy, the night before the national championship game, remember, the national championship was at that point of one game, winner take all. LSU beats Florida State to advance, and a bunch of LSU fans decide to drive to Omaha for the championship game. Well, we had been there the entire week in Omaha. We watched literally every game of that World Series. We got there early because the right field was general admission at Rosenblatt. So we would get there early in the morning, and we would wait till they opened the gate, and then we would just run in and get our seat. Same seat, first row of right field. There for every game of the World Series. Not just LSU, every game. We'd get there early, we'd stay for the whole day of games. And on the night before the championship game, we drive by Rosenblatt, and we see there's already people lining up like, shit, we're going to lose our spot for the national championship game. So, like, we gotta sleep out here. So we go to the store, get some food and some ice chest of beer, whatever we got, and just went and camped out so we'd get our spot. Well, as we go through the night and then into the morning, more LSU fans are showing up. Like, obviously people who had maybe like driven through the night, and among them was Jack Warner. Jack Warner, who was Brandon Landry's partner originally, helped open walk-ons. Well, at some point during the night, some guy comes stumbling, or like he is just piss-ass drunk. Excuse me for the language on Morning Scone. But he is like loaded. And there was a dumpster. I'm not even joking, y'all. There was a dumpster right by where the line had been forming in turn. There was a dumpster because it's like the back gate of Rosenblatt. This dude climbed in the dumpster and like it was full and like slept on the trash. Like he passed out. Well, at some point he comes to, and we had bought a bed sheet. I told you it was a long story, and you may not care. We had bought a bed sheet at Kmart and a bunch of paint to paint Go Tigers on this bed sheet that we were gonna have in the stands, which we did. And so in between innings, we'd hang the bed sheet with Go Tigers, we'd hang it over the wall. Interestingly enough, as a random aside, because we didn't have anything under the bed sheet when we painted it on the ground outside of Rosenblatt in right field for years, there was this painted Go Tigers on the concrete because of us painting the bed sheet. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. I have visual proof here in a second. If I can find this freaking picture. And so we're painting this bed sheet. People are taking interest. Right there in the front. Paintboy or drunk guy wakes up, stumbles over to us, and Jack Warner starts kind of like screwing with him. Like, hey man, you should let them paint you. Like, oh, you won't do it, all that sort, like just egging this guy on. And the guy's, no, I'll do it. And like, this was house paint. I mean, this wasn't like, finger paint. This was like something you would go paint your home with. Like, we got it from like the hardware part of this. Anyway, so my dad tries to tell this guy, like, hey man, look, this is house paint. You shouldn't do this. This could be really dangerous, putting this on your skin and like, whatever. The guy's like, no, I feel safe. Well, we paint the guy, and I have a picture of us painting the guy, who became known as Paintboy. And Paintboy did, in fact, get into the game and nearly stole the ball from Ray Wright on what is the most famous catch in LSU history. I can't believe, where is that stupid picture? Of course, I got 10,000 pictures in this stupid thing, and I can't find one. Of course, the two pictures I'm looking for, I can't find. Oh God, there's more. Because of course there's more. There's more. I'll find it. Anyway, so as an aside to this, which there is an interesting conclusion to the story, Paintboy, as he became known, and I did cross paths several years later. So in 2005, at the SEC football championship game between LSU and Georgia, LSU gets absolutely curb stomped by Georgia. I'm leaving the Georgia Dome, and some guy, remember, not everybody at this point in 2005, not everybody has a cell phone. The iPhone hasn't been invented yet. Like, not everybody has a phone. Well, this guy can't find his group, whatever. He stops and he's like, hey man, do you have a phone or something like that I could use to make a call, try to call my friends to see? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, LSU is an LSU fan. LSU just got crushed. We're all just miserable. It sucked, whatever. So this guy takes my phone, and I'm standing right there, and he's making this call, and we're talking, blah, blah, and I'm looking, I'm like, dang, man, I'm like, this guy looks familiar. Here it is. Here it is. Yes. So I'm like, this guy looks familiar, man. There, bingo, got it. Like, this guy looks familiar, man. I keep looking at him, and I go, hey, man, you look familiar. And so we start, like, there's Ray Wright. So we start, it's an even better one. That's Tommy Clark, though. And I look at him like, hey, and I go, man, anyway, I look at him like, man, were you at the College World Series in 2000? And he's like, yeah, man, I was the guy in that picture with the paint. I was like, we painted you. He goes, oh my God, like that was you? He's like, dude, that took 2 weeks to get the paint off. He's like, I had to pour gasoline on my skin to get the paint off. I mean, it was house paint. I'm trying to find the picture of us painting him. I've gotten a couple of pictures that y'all will appreciate, so you know I'm not lying. Number one, so this was Tommy Clark in right. That's where we were in right field. Y'all can see. I mean, we were I mean, we were on the wall right there about where Ray made the catch. This was from the championship game. That's Ray Wright. I mean, look where we were. We were in the first row of right field. I mean, I was, 30 feet from Ray Wright. I mean, we were right there. We were right there. This was us painting the banner. This is how the banner ended up looking, right? So we did this banner. And this is what was on the ground outside of Rosenblatt Stadium for years post 2000 College World Series because we didn't have anything under it. So Go Tigers was painted on the concrete outside of Rosenblatt Stadium. You're welcome. But I got to find the picture of Paintboy so y'all know I'm not BSing you because Jack Warner is in the picture with us painting him. I've got to find this picture. Now that I've taken... Trivia, now that you've sent me down this rabbit hole looking for all this and telling us, there it is. Oh my God, I found it. I present to you, Paintboy. Y'all thought I was lying, bro. And look, there's Jack Warner right there. There's Jack laughing at Paintboy. So, right outside of Rosenblatt, the guy that nearly stole the ball from Ray Wright, we painted him. What an idiot. Whew. I mean, great. It's a great story. It's a really great story. I probably have bored all of you to death with that story. But now you will look at that picture and think of that play and have new appreciation. I don't know if appreciation is the right word, but new understanding of it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, wow. So some people actually seem to like that story. Ultimate Warrior. That's a legendary story. How old was Paintboy? He had to be college. I mean, he had to be college age. I mean, this college age guy. Y'all are awesome. Wow. What a great story. Cortland. Why not paint thinner? I don't know. But I'm telling you, the guy told me he had to pour gasoline on himself to get that paint off. Like, it was there for 2 weeks. Incredible. I mean, this is so great. We need an After Dark show, just your personal LSU game stories. I got plenty of them. I could tell you how I have, well, you probably can't see, but why I have, can y'all see that scar right there on my hand? Well, you probably can't see it. On my finger, that scar. I could tell you that story. Paintboy, dude, I'm telling you. Oh, dude, Ray's in here. Oh my God, he's what? Ray. So Pit Stops for Hope. That's Ray. That's Ray Wright. So Pit Stops for Hope. You know what? I'm gonna post that in the. Hang on. I'm posting Pit Stops for Hope in both chats, so y'all can see. So this is Ray's charity. If you're someone who donates to charities or needs tax write-offs or just wants to help people, this would be a great one to look into to donate to. Providing meals for the hungry. Awesome organization what Ray is doing there. So I just posted the link for Pit Stops there in the chat if anyone's interested. So Ray, have you never heard that story? Now I'm really curious. So if you're watching on YouTube and you see Pit Stops for Hope, also click Pit Stops for Hope and go follow. Let's see if I don't know if Ray's got a channel or if that's just like a Google account. Either way. Anyway. Carl the cat. I was left of the catch a few rows up. Carl, you were right by me, man. I was right there. How about that, Ray? Ray, have I ever told you that story? You gotta let me know. I mean, Ray, bro. That's how far I was from you, bro. Anyway, great times. Honestly, I say, like, one of the best weeks of my life was 2000 in Omaha. One of the best weeks of my life. It was me and my brother, my dad, and my best friend, Ben, who died in 2009. So, you know, I cherish a lot of those memories that we have, and that, I don't know if there's any greater than that. That was awesome. Okay. All right, back to the comments. Now that you've all heard my Dustin McGinnis, can we get Paintboy on the companion show? That's a good idea, Dustin. Somebody messaged me not long ago because I told that story somewhere else, and someone was like, "Hey, that was my fraternity brother. His name is blah blah blah." I can't remember if he sent me a contact, but I would love to do that. Apparently, the guy like Paintboy listens to the show, like he knows. I guess he knows about the show or knows who I am or something like that. Man, that'd be funny. On the next SEC story, how Paintboy almost screwed up the Tigers winning the Natty. Oh, man. Matt Godwin, awesome story. We need more story time with Scone. I got plenty of them. I'm glad that didn't bore y'all to death. Dustin Barzar, what happened in Beloso? He looks so uncomfortable. So, Dustin, here was something interesting that Terrio did mention on Friday on AFR. If you look back in Eugene, Beloso's whole career has gone with this big leg kick, right? So from the left side, big leg kick with his front leg. And in Eugene, when he got to play in that last game, he went to a toe tap, and he struck out his first 2 times. And then he went to the leg kick, and he smoked 2 balls after that. One was a RBI fielder's choice. No, it wasn't a fielder's choice. It's an RBI ground out. But the thing about Cade is he's been a dead pull hitter this year, which is interesting because that isn't what he had done his whole career, oddly enough. But until the last 2 games, I'd tell you the benefit of having Cade in there is that he just didn't strike out. He had like 19 strikeouts in the whole season. So, yeah, someone said DH the Giacomo. He's not available. Like, that's the problem. Like, he can't run because of his hamstring. So, he's not available. If he were available, you'd play him in center. Oh, that's a good point, Jerry. He let y'all paint it with house paint. So why not use gas to get it off? That's true. Same logic, I would suppose. Darren 6 killer great story, Matt. Always wanted to get to Omaha to watch the Tigers play. Anytime you want to share Omaha stories or experiences, fine by me. Very cool, man. Thank you. Dude, another one I'll tell you from that week is, not that anybody cares about like me going deep dive into 2000 College World Series stories, but maybe I'll do. So the ULL was there that year, and they had all dyed their hair. And that was when Eminem was coming to fame as Slim Shady, right? The white rapper with the bleach blonde hair. So we made a sign that said, so Tommy Clark was the right fielder. And Tommy's jumped on here before as well. Like, he and I have actually connected, which is pretty cool. He came on AFR when Coach Rowe tragically passed last year. But anyway, we had a sign that said, like, number 19, TC, Tommy Clark, the real Slim Shady. Well, the interesting thing about it is, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember if it was Florida State or USC. One of them, their head coach, wore number 19. So remember if it was Mike Martin or whoever the head coach was for USC there that year, who also wore number 19. So one game, I think it was USC, they're stretching in right field. And so we have this sign that says number 19, the real Slim Shady. Well, it said TC. Well, like, we put our hand over the TC and held it up. So all the USC players thought we made the sign about the real Slim Shady for their coach. Old man, I don't remember who it was. But anyway, and they were all laughing their ass off. That was pretty funny. Funny to us, anyway. Ryan Dixon, Jack Warner dove into my truck in Columbia, South Carolina after LSU beat them because he needed a ride back to the hotel. Stephen Strahan, what's up? Chuck Sanchez, what's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Good morning from Destin. Thought Hilliard was pulled too soon. Bats weren't there, and Dallas had great control. Hope they get fired up for today. I don't think Hilliard was pulled too soon. The bats were definitely not good, and I love having Marceau today. I totally understand what Maneri was thinking when he pulled McHale. I get it. And if Cade Doughty makes an out on the ground ball to third, anywhere, come home, tag the guy third, throw the ball to first, just makes an out, you get out of that inning, worst case scenario, tie. 2-2. Uncle Mike, what's up, man? Greg Dugas, good morning. Clifford Moore, good morning. Travis Bowman, got him right where we want him. Look, I agree. I mean, this was kind of what you expected. You expected their ace to win, and you expect your ace to win today. Like, you should win with Landon Marceau on the mound today. If you don't, your season ends. But, yeah, I mean, this is what you want. I mean, this is why you played it this way. You gave Marceau the extra day's rest. Now you run him out there. And if you manage to win today, you've got Labus on the mound tomorrow with an extra day's rest going against a really talented freshman. Blade Tidwell is going to go for Tennessee tomorrow, provided they get to Game 3. And you'll have Labus for LSU. You'll have a fourth-year guy against a freshman. And Tidwell's talented. He's a guy. He's a prospect, but he's also a freshman. Mark Bork, thoughts on the strike zone last night. Didn't love it. Normally, most people understand that college pitchers are not professional pitchers. And so a lot of times umpires expand the zone for college pitchers. That guy last night was not great. The one that Morgan struck out on that he thought was low, it was close, but I think it was a good pitch. Too close to take. The one that I had a problem with was the inside pitch to Gavin Dugas that he struck out on in the third. That was not a strike. Oh, wow. I need to catch up. Tad Page, what's up? Dustin McGinnis, that was awesome. Any chance he follows you now? The Paintboy guy? I don't know. Juan, I needed a story like that this morning. Thank you, Matt. I can't believe y'all haven't heard me tell that story. I feel like I've told it so many times. Maybe not here. Leandro Lewis, Matt, you never fail us. Let's see. Ray said, I've heard bits and pieces, not the full story. That definitely is classic. Yep. Trivia, Ray Wright, how far did Terrio throw his helmet after the game-winning run? Rumors Terrier's helmet hit Justin Wayne in the dugout. Oh, God, really? So Terrio told me that the helmet is at Red Stick Sports. And he knows it's actually his helmet because he said he used to write something like in his helmet. So he looked at the helmet was on the shelf, whatever. He looked, he's like, that was it. Like, I don't know how it ended up there, but that would be a good story. Who got that helmet and where did it go from there? Juan, this has evolved into an amazing episode. Now I feel like putting some whiskey in my coffee. wait on that. Well, you know what, Juan? No judgment here. Do what you got to do. Scone, were you on the Blacksburg Strip the night before the O2 game when the cops showed up in riot gear? Justin, I was not, but I'll tell you a story about that game. So to prove, this was right field, Rosenblatt, before one of the ULL games, and we made a sign that said, "Ooh la la." That's me and my buddy Ben. We were both wearing gold Abram Booty jerseys because that's what you did in 2000. bucket hats and Abram Booty jerseys. Your boy was not fashionable, suffice to say. Someone asked about Virginia Tech. So the funny story about that game, my dad was an attorney, was Lamar's corporate attorney, and Lamar had a plane, and so somehow I managed to weasel my way onto that plane, and we flew to Blacksburg that day. Went to the game. Like, the airport was right next to the field, to Lane Stadium, and that was the day they retired Mike Vick's jersey. So Mike Vick landed in a helicopter right next to the stadium, came in, they did the announcement to retire his jersey, and I think they just left. BC, y'all. Anyway, good time. I think it was this stack. I gotta organize these pictures. Or maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. How about this one? Oh, this one, yo. A young Matty Moscona with Kirk Herbstreit at college game day in South Bend, Indiana, before LSU played then #1 Nebraska and Eric Crouch in the year 2000. Whew, throwback. Hashtag throwback. This is what y'all came here this morning for, right? To hear me go through all my old pictures and stories from 20 years ago. Not at all to talk about the LSU-Tennessee game. Y'all sent me down a rabbit hole this morning, y'all. As always, shout out to Brock. Y'all, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. After hours clinic is open today, so if you need an orthopedist today, bypass the ER, go to Brock and Hudco Roofing. Y'all have heard me talk plenty about Hudco. A lot of door knockers around, a lot of out-of-state roofing companies. I just ask y'all, don't go that route, man. Trust a local company. We'd love for you to give us a shot. Come give you a free roof inspection. I mean, say it every time. There's only 2 ways you can find out if you have roof damage. You get up on the roof and inspect it, or you wait for it to rain and you have water in your house. And one option is better than the other. So let us come by and do a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. How did you get E-Rock to marry you with that fashion sense? That's a great question. She has slowly evolved my my fashion, and in fairness, that was also like the year 2000, right? I mean, that was 20 years ago, and we were in the first row of a sporting event, just trying to be loud, right? So whatever. Minute. Let's see. Charlie Cavell, plate umpire in MSU Notre Dame, was called up by Kyle Peterson. Not in a derogatory way, just he was having a tough day. It's why I love KP, not afraid to call it the umpire who having a bad day. I hate shills who placate the governing body. Well, KP's also a pitcher, so I do expect KP at times to probably not be super pumped with the umpire. But yeah, I got you. But sure, I do love Kyle Peterson. I think he's great. He's awesome. Juan, Matt, when I grow up and buy a house, I'll hit up Hudco. Do y'all work in New Orleans? Juan, we do work in New Orleans. Thank you. All over the state, as a matter of fact. So our main office, our founding office, is in Shreveport, Bossier. So basically everything Alexandria North is the Shreveport office. And then we're based here at Baton Rouge, but our crews run all over the I-10 corridor. So New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, we do it all. Merrick Mathern, do you still have that jersey? Oh, God. Merrick, I think I might. Hang on. I mean, I showed you all the baseball jerseys I have. There's no reason I wouldn't have that one. Sad to report, the jersey is not in the Scone house. It might be at my parents' house. Or I might have gotten rid of it, but it is not here. Samuel Merrifield, McDonald from Louisville, offer the Jack to bring him in. Money talks. So not for everyone, Samuel. And what I will tell you about Dan McDonald that I've heard, and I've repeated this 1,000 times, so for everyone who's heard it already, I apologize, is that, I was told point blank, Dan McDonald has no interest in leaving Louisville. He does not want to be in the SEC. He likes ACC baseball. He has built that program at Louisville. It's his. He doesn't want to leave. Now theoretically, could you go make him the offer? He couldn't refuse, maybe, but sometimes people are not grass is always greener guys. Look how long it took Chris Peterson to get out of Boise. People went and called on him every year. Now, coincidentally, the guy who got him out is the guy who's LSU's athletic director, so we'll see, but maybe. Basically, after the SEC tournament, I was told, look, this is going to go quiet for a couple of weeks. And that was because they were going to wait until regionals and super regionals played, and then they would, make their move. But they tried to very quietly bring in Pat Casey, and that got out. And when that got out, the reaction was what it was. And then when that got out, Kevin O'Sullivan also said, you know what, never mind. And so then the top candidate was now off the board, and the reaction of Pat Casey was not good, and so Pat. So I would not be surprised if it gets quiet. It was supposed to be quiet for a couple of weeks until the Pat Casey story leaked, which then caused the O'Sullivan thing to happen. But anyway. Did you see the frog in the LSU dugout? I did, and I have no idea if it's related to the companion show, but I am aching to find out now. It would not surprise me if one of the players was aware or knows Coogan and that happened. I would not surprise me at all, but I do not know. I do not know what the genesis of that is. Do you think LSU can win the series against Tennessee realistically? Absolutely. They're 0-4 against Tennessee, but they've all been decided by a run or two. LSU should win today with Landon Marceau. They should. Your ace is going against their number 2. The roles are basically reversed from last night. You should win this game tonight or this afternoon. So win this game with Marceau on the mound. Force a game 3, and then it's Labus on an extra day's rest against Blade Tidwell. You've got a fourth-year guy going against a freshman, and Tidwell is more talented than Labus. Tidwell's got a shot to pitch in the big leagues, but it's a fourth-year guy against a true freshman. So let's see how it goes. Is Trey Morgan the best first baseman LSU's had? If you're talking about defensively, probably. I think that's fair. As far as a defensive first baseman, yeah. Merrick, does Tennessee come to the box next year? Don't know. Schedule hasn't been announced yet. And the only thing you know is that you play the West. You play the Western Division teams. Notre Dame kicked the ball around in that game, gifted State their win. I was surprised. And when Notre Dame was up 7-3 and they were hitting early in that game, I was like, ooh, it's overwhelming. But State's a good team, man. Gulf South. Mincy isn't allowed back today. He's more bad luck than Cobble was last week. Nope. If Mincy wants to come back, he can come back. Let's see. Yeah, it was a good crew last night, man. We had on the companion show, Musa was on from Lake Bruin. We had Ray Wright joining us off and on from the stands there in Knoxville. Kai Wright was on board. Mincy jumped aboard. We had a good crew, man. Good crew. 16 Ks, only one hitter adjusted to being pitched away. All falls on alleged hitting coach. You know what, Dave? I'll tell you this. Sometimes the players need to execute. whatever the game plan is. And it doesn't always fall on the coaches. Now, do you want to say, well, the coach has to convince the players to go execute? For example, last week when LSU got to Eugene for the first game against Gonzaga, the whole game plan was go to right field. Go to right field. The whole game plan. Go the other way, go to right field against that guy. And if you go watch the game, nobody did that. Every kid was swinging out of their shoes trying to yank homers. So, like, I see it a couple of different ways, obviously. Oh, yeah, T-Bob, that's right. Thank you, Dustin. How could I forget? T-Bob jumped on a couple times, too. Hey, babe.
Hey,
Good morning.
what the hell was wrong with him?
What? Because you slept so long?
Yeah, I kept waking up and I was like, looking at him and he was like, on top of my head. So,
Oh.
hey, buddy.
I slept till 8:15. I couldn't believe it. I woke up at 8:15. I was like,
because I kept waking up and I was like, oh.
I can't believe I slept till 8:15. It's like the latest I've slept in a long time.
Yeah, I put my alarm set for it, so I turned it off because he was still sleeping.
Let's see. Mr. W, who are your top 3 for head coach? Who do you ultimately think gets the job? I mean, it was O'Sullivan. He wasn't even my top. He was the guy that the people that matter at LSU were going to get, and they fumbled. I don't even really think it matters what I think at this point. I think it's going to be Mike Bianco unless Scott Woodward pulls a rabbit out of his hat, unless he waits until knowing that he could go to Bianco at any point, and make him the offer that would get him away. But the other side of that is unless if Woodward he waits until the season ends and then he makes some kind of run at Tim Corbin or something like that. But if Vanderbilt wins a national championship, I mean, that ain't gonna happen. So tough, man. He's in a tough spot. Juan said, Mincy is a heck of a guy. Him, T-Bob, and I were getting blitzed at Hawks. I'm guessing Mincy wasn't, because Mincy don't drink anymore. Like, he stopped drinking more than a year ago. He lost a bunch of weight. Good for him. Why can't LSU complete any coaching search without turning it into a cluster F? Ben, you mean like when they landed Kim Mulkey without it turning into a cluster F? They had the O'Sullivan deal basically done. They had terms agreed to. O'Sullivan had already started talking to potential assistant coaches. And just as they were getting to the finish line, some things popped up, and LSU was like, and so they tried to slow play it. They started looking for safer options. They made the offer to Pat Casey. O'Sullivan was like, I'm good, thanks, don't worry about it. And balked. So they put all their eggs in that basket, and when they weren't able to finish it, so many other jobs already been filled. Texas Tech locked up Tim Tadlock. Schlossnagel took the A&M job. Your pool has shrunk a little now. So, can we get rid of Bianco after a year and do better in the search next season? No. Tony said Corbin is the only choice. He could be the next Skip Bertman. Yeah, Tony.
Can you imagine if we had a coach named Schlossnagel?
Did y'all hear that?
Seriously? Schlossnagel?
Schlossnagel, yes.
There's no way we would ever have a coach named that.
His name's Jim Schlossnagel.
There's no way we would have a coach named Schlossnagel.
Why not?
Because that's not right. That's like the funniest name in the world.
That's a funny name.
I would never be able to spell it right.
You like to say Schlossnagel.
I don't like to say it. I don't know how to spell it either.
So, Tony, the difference is Tim Corbin is already 59 years old. Corbin did the job in 07 when Maneri got it. Yeah, Corbin's 59. So he'll be 60 on August 5th. So that if you went the Corbin route, you're not talking about a long-term hire also. And it would take a lot to pry him out of Nashville. I think I mentioned this here before. There's one reason why I believe Tim Corbin would leave Vanderbilt, and I don't know if it would be enough to get him out and to get him here. But he would most definitely not in any way consider taking a job if it became a public spectacle. Like, it would have to be done like cloak of secrecy. One day, here's the offer, take 24 hours to think about it, let's go. If it becomes some dragged out thing, no shot. Patrick Kimmery, just found out Father's Day is next week and I need to lower my expectations of how my day will go. That's so good. Patrick Kimmery, imagine you guys looking at drones for roof inspections with infrared camera that can detect cool spots on roofs, hence damaged areas. Maybe we already do that, Patrick. It's not possible for all. And there's a software called Eagle View that does that. So, anyway, yes, thank you though. We're on it. I know you're responding to my. There's only two ways to find out: it's to get on the roof and inspect it, but get on the roof and inspect it means Dobbs doing an inspection. Sometimes you can do it with satellite imagery or cameras, but not always. Let's see, Craig. I think we're just about done, y'all. E-Rock discriminating on names. Mark Zush, you mentioned Gotro early in the search. He's not being tossed around. So, Mark, Gotro is someone that Ryan Terrio has mentioned a bunch as a guy that he would like to see be the coach. It's Jake Gotro, who played at Tulane, who's now an assistant at Mississippi State. I don't think LSU is hiring an assistant coach to be the head coach. That's just completely out of character for how Woodward has conducted searches. And Merrick asked about Godwin. The problem with Godwin is Godwin was on the list, and he was at one point considered the fallback if they missed on their big targets, and he would absolutely take it. The problem with Godwin is he has some of the same, let's call them character flaws, that Kevin O'Sullivan had. And if you were hesitant to do that with Kevin O'Sullivan, who's won a national title and been to Omaha 7 times, you're certainly not going to walk that road with Cliff Godwin, unless you feel like you have no choice. Let's see, Golf Shot. TV guy said LSU never saw Arnold play a game. Took the word of a scout. Is that common? It sounds as bad as Coach O hiring coaches he never interviewed. So recruiting in baseball is a little different, and because there aren't always like these big showcase camps, and you don't get all these prospects to campus all the time to work out. You know what I mean? It's different. So sometimes you'll send guys to, like, I believe you tell me Maneri never saw him until he showed up on campus because Nolan recruits for LSU. So Nolan will go to like the big Perfect Game showcase event in Florida and, scout guys and recruit and make offers. And a lot of times Maneri doesn't meet the players till they get to campus. Now, I don't think that's common. I think that's actually something that's hurt this program. I think, that's why you've had some misses on prospects. But it's one of the reasons why I was bullish on O'Sullivan, because O'Sullivan is the guy who recruits. O'Sullivan personally goes to these showcases. He personally goes and sits in the dugout and talks to these kids. He personally goes to high school games. I mean, he's just 52, energetic, pumped, trying to win championships. He's he's at the point in his career where Maneri was 10 years ago. Right. All right, y'all. I think we're just about done. Why wouldn't we want Bianco? So, Ben, the thing about Bianco is that his reputation, his earned reputation, is as a really good regular season coach who's won a lot of games, but as a coach whose teams never perform in the postseason. Fair or unfair, I mean, that is his reputation. In 20 years, he's been to Omaha one time. I mean, understand that LSU fans are disgruntled with Paul Maneri, who has won a championship, also had a national runner-up, been to Omaha 5 times, and is 2 wins away from a 6th trip to Omaha, and people are disgruntled with that. Imagine if you go 20 years and you have 1 trip to Omaha. And then there's the thing about people will say, well, it's a different level of resources at LSU, blah, 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 blah. Get lost. Like, he has had tons of talent in Oxford. I mean, he has had arms, guys like Nikhazy and Hoagland, and all the way back to Pomeranz. And, I mean, he's had guys, he's had great teams, he's had talent. They've hosted super regionals. They don't win them. In his 1 trip to Omaha, they played their super regional at ULL, where they lost the first game and came back and won the next 2. It's the only time he's been to Omaha, 2014. So the thing is, if you want him, okay, but understand, like, you're taking a big risk on a guy who his MO is he doesn't perform in the postseason. And the thing that bothers me is many of the people that crap on Maneri are the same ones that are trying to prop up Mike Bianco for this job. And that bothers me because it's a completely different standard, because it's people that played with or for Bianco at LSU. And so they know him and they want their guy, their friend, to get the job. But if you're blind resume judging him, there's no way you would look at that guy and say, yep, LSU. Tony, if we had Corbin to begin with instead of hiring Paul, we'd have another 4 championships. Tony, so I don't really deal in hypotheticals like that. It's easy for you to throw that out, and there's no way to justify that in any way. So if you want to believe that, fine. Is it possible? Maybe. Would they have lost? Potentially. Remember also at Vanderbilt, you have the greatest advantage in that Vanderbilt will pay academic scholarships for any of those players that qualify. So he's not dealing with 11.7. He can go bring in whoever he wants on a full ride to Vanderbilt. So, you know, that's that. If you hate Paul, you're going to hate Bianco. And I love Paul. All right. I think we're just about done. Yes, companion show. Of course. We'll see y'all. If you're watching on Facebook and you've not done so yet, let me post the YouTube link on Facebook. And nobody complained today about the audio on Facebook, so maybe the audio is better, which is encouraging. This is so I just posted on Facebook my YouTube page. So the companion show, because we do it on Zoom, so multiple people can come on, stream it to YouTube. So please please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. If you're watching on YouTube, you haven't subscribed. Excuse me, please. Trivia, you're not doing your job there, man. 86 watching, only 47 likes this morning on YouTube. It's a bummer. Anyway, y'all please hit the thumbs up if you would. I'd appreciate it. Okay. I think we are just about done. And all right. Y'all have an awesome day. We'll see y'all back here for the companion show in 4 hours. See, but Brock, Hudko, Brock and Hudko, Hudko and Brock. See y'all.